Welcome back everyone to Gamevine, and my name is Dave, and we are going to be reviewing Detective City of Angels. There's not that many angels in the city though. Let's go. Now, as a disclaimer, this is a review copy from Van Ryder Games. Now, I didn't really expect this game to show up, and when it did, this huge box, this kind of old-timey LA noir kind of cover, struck me as quite a big game. I felt like it's going to be puzzly. I pulled out the board and it's a gigantic board. I'm like, oh man. I like deduction games and I love playing anything that has to do with puzzles and deducing who did it with my partner, because I just love watching her gears work. I'm okay at it, but here I get to know all the answers beforehand and watch her gears start to turn as I already know the answers, and I gotta tell you, that appeals to me right from the rip. Again, like I said, it did look daunting. There are multiple missions you can go through too. I don't know, but I don't want to spoil anything because there's a lot of themes. So this is going to be a bit different on the how-to portion. I do make a mistake too. The 4 doors don't go under the knowledge cards. The little wooden piece does do. You'll see what I mean. But I'm not going to point out everything. So read the rule book, please, on this. But I am going to give you a basic overview of what's going on. But first, let me show you some of the components in this game, because that kind of surprised me. I'll go into the basic how-to, very loose how-to, and give you my opinion after that. So let's go. First thing first, I want to show that everyone gets their own case book, the detectives, and this will be a special book for the person who is running the DM kind of role, and tutorial book for the very first mission. I mean, the one thing I want to point out, to attention to detail to make everything accessible and intuitive, and if it doesn't make sense, to have everything on the back so you can read it. It's just really nice and a touch that I have to take a second to appreciate. Okay, so this is what you get in the box, and it is a lot of stuff, gals and guys, and really cool stuff as well. We have these little fedoras, which I'm not a huge fan of wearing fedoras, but these little plastic ones really tickle my fancy. I like them quite a bit, and they're in fantastic colors. They're plastic, they're lightweight, they're just detailed so nicely. And then you have the wooden components for each player, cubes and little discs, and cardboard components that aren't linen finish, but the art on them is just phenomenal. Thick cardboard, standees of standard condition, bits of cardboard, as well as the scrap. I think it's what they call it in here, yeah. And it's just little pieces of money. This is better than paper money, but these are tiny, tiny. Now, the people here are all represented in minis. Let's get a better look at that there. If I can just, there we go. And they are detailed really nice. There are only 4 for each player, and they're not painted, which you can paint them, but they're really, really cool, really nice miniatures. Then you have all the suspect and or victims. I'm not going to be going over too much of the boxes right here because I don't want to give away spoilers. I'm doing my best not to have that happen, but you have detective book, case books, tutorial books, all this kind of stuff, and the grids that everybody's going to have is right there, so they can basically communicate with the chisel. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to give a very, very, very basic, try to do non-spoiler explanation of this game, so let's do it right now. Let's go. Okay, so this is the game setup for 3 players. As you can see, 2 people are the detective, but that's because one person's playing the DM, the chisel, the person who knows all the answers, the questions. He is the all-knowing, she is the all-knowing. Whoever's playing the chisel is the person that is going to know who did the crime, where, and with what, and that's what you need to determine before the days tick by till it becomes cold case here. Now, there are different things that are going to be happening in this game, so I'm going to try not to spoil it, so I'm not going to go over the little details of the story, and I'm not going to go over every little minute rule. Please read the rule book for yourself, because it would be a shame to spoil anything in this absolutely thematic game. So with that being said, everyone starts off with 4 actions on their turns. They can do any of the actions here: move, question, search, analyze, kick back, use their scratch to buy some information. But basically, the board's broke up in these colors here, and you can get anywhere within 3 moves. You can go on the line here from each section, move into it, then move there and to the very edge of the line, purple and orange, and then move into that. So you can take a whole action turn to move where you need to go, but you do start off the board, and you have to start off at the police station. So Sally over here has been murdered, and it's been here at the Horseshoe Pier, and that's where we need to figure out. Charlie and them, well, they might have done it, but we don't know. We need to figure this out. And again, I'm not going to go over every little thing here. What you're trying to do is a chisel is trying to maintain the story and not give too much answers. They do have these square cards, don't look too much, that they'll be putting in here, and each one has a answer on each 4 sides. One answer is better than the next, and the chisel's going to decide which one they want to give. But sometimes you can use your little your fedoras if you have influence on any of these people, if you're questioning them, and or buy some goons to rough up the chisel to get some answers out of them that he is keeping to himself. But if he's already given you the best answer, the chisel, then the chisel gets some of your influence, which is put over here, and they can block in your questions or anybody snitching. See, when there's a line succession of questioning, other people can either snitch or not. One's pass and one's bribe. And if they snitch and you get some information, well, they have to pay, but they also get to see that information. Again, this is kind of a competitive game between the detectives here. They're trying to be the first one to guess what happened, but not everyone will know every bit of information. Now, we will learn more in these E, F, and G's. I'm not going to be flipping those over, but some people might be able just to pocket some of the cards and not let anybody know, putting some of these letters up here. I don't know where F is, or so we're just going to use E, and then it'll be down here, and sometimes it'll take a couple days for it to go in evidence, and then everybody will know what the card is. But for a little bit, you will have some information for yourself. Detectives will be searching areas. The chisel has cards that will coincide with that. He can search people, he can search areas, he can go to the detectives that is already on the board and pay them some money to get some information that they might already know, because some of the information will be down here, and people will know some of these cards, and you'll keep track of that with these awesome fedoras here. And again, I'm not going over every rule. Read the rule book yourself. I'm just giving you kind of a overview of what's going on here. Now, questioning up here, when I said blocking, snitching, or questioning, the chisel can do that. If she wants to block somebody who's doing better and help somebody else, like green may be doing better than red, the chisel might block the green's questioning, but let red's questioning go by, depending on how they want to play it. It's really cool to kind of be in that DM role. But you can even pay money to rough up the chisel, like I said, to get questions and or answers out of them. Now, when you're questioning, you have this grid in front of you, and you're going to be putting the suspects on here, well, everybody you have here, and you're going to be saying, I want to know about Dunn at G here. So you'll do the grid, the chisel will look at what's going on, and then they'll give you the answers based on that. You'll write it down, and you'll be narrowing stuff down on your board, and when you think you have the right guess, you can put your marker down and say, hey, I got this solved. And if you do have it solved, well, you win. If you don't, the chisel will say you have this many right, but not allowed to tell you which ones are right. And if you get all the way down to the last here, you get a final guess. So if you have your one guess left, definitely want to use it, because you can essentially get 2 tries at it, and if no one gets it after that point, well, the case does go cold and you lose. But that's essentially the game in a nutshell. I did not go over a lot of the detail rules, but again, what you're doing is going to places, searching them, trying to gain information out of people, and allowing the chisel to either give you the right answer when he gives you that, or bending his arm and giving more of a right answer. And again, you need to judge if that would be a good thing, because if the chisel has influence on you, well, he might block some of your questioning and snitches, and that could hinder your play. Quick fix on the pieces here. Your fedoras do go on the cards as for influence, but to show what knowledge you know on the facts here, you put these little tiny pieces. So quick fix. Okay, so again, that is a setup for a 3-player game. Now let me tell you what I think about this game and give it a grade. Let's go. So that is Detective City of Angels. And what does this get? It gets a 91. This one surprised me. Even though it looks like this humongous game, it's not. The setup being in the little boxes, it's such an easy setup and teardown. Now, the replayability, you're saying there's only about 9 missions if you do the intro. There are expansions out there if you want. Sure, I mean, yes, but you're getting a lot of bang for your buck here. I don't want to give away too much, but what happens and transpires, people, it seemed like on the comments when I was reading on Amazon, said this was like LA Noire a little bit, and I have to agree. I played the crap out of LA Noire when I had a 360, only the first rendition. I couldn't bring myself to do it again in HD, but from what I remember, this is a fantastic translation of that time frame and kind of romanticizing the theme. Yes, it pairs so perfect in this game. And again, it surprised me. The gameplay is a perfect length. Some missions are a little bit longer, and just based on some of the AP, but they're much faster. They wrap up in around 30. There was one that wrapped up at like 25 minutes because my partner really was on that. And the competitive nature on this, when I had a 3-person game, was interesting, though I just liked being the person who knew what was going on and watching other people go through the motions. That right there is my role. It's cool to have this detective noir setting and have a DM. I've never thought you could do it, but it works so perfectly in this, and it appeals to my gameplay because I just like seeing the story and theme, and the theme in this game gives me chills. Again, the cover does kind of speak to you a little bit. I think it could be a little bit more bright, but dark and gritty is the kind of noir theme. But when you go into the game and you actually play it, and if you have somebody that can read in a old-timey voice, it really sets the theme, and you can play some like undertone music. Oh man, it is one of the most thematic games that I've played this year, probably in the last 2-3 years at this point. The components are stellar. I love the little fedoras. They're made so nicely. And the replayability, like I said, it's there. I burned through this, so I want more. I haven't got the expansion yet, so I can't tell you what is going on with that. But there were just some points in here that just had me laughing, and there were some points that just was a twisty of twist that Mr. Shyamalan might have had a hand in writing it. So the work that was put into the writing of this game by Van Ryder Games has to be appreciated. Every line of text, every thematic twist, it's if you're into that type of thing, this game is for you, which I'm going to leave in a link down below. Again, read the rule book yourself. This isn't a how-to portion, but if you join me, I really do appreciate it. Thank you again, Van Ryder Games, for providing us with this review copy again. And until the next time that I see you, Vine Nation, if you haven't already, click like and subscribe. My name is Dave, and have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. You heard it here on the Game Vine. I'm out. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 15,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance as a dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.